Very good evening, friends, to the another session of Point Noted by Machine Maker. Today, we are going to talk about a very interesting subject where a lot of people are not having very clear understanding what is happening right now. That is the power crisis, the coal shortage, and this we heard first it from China before 1 month. There are news coming around. You need to understand one thing: China is very censored when it comes to getting the inside information outside to the globe. And whenever there is a news coming out of China, that means there is something which is different. We need to look at that. So like that, there were a couple of news coming from China. On that one was the power crisis, the coal shortage, and a lot of industries in China was getting shut down due to the power crisis. And added to that, we have seen in India also last couple of weeks we are hearing about there is a coal shortage in many thermal power plants, and that is also some states, especially in the northern India, is sharing their concern that we need to start load shedding. Some people have started load shedding. Today, to discuss this subject, we have with us Shri Prafulla Pathak, who is the president of Solar Energy Society of India. Welcome, Pathak sir, to this show of Point Noted. He is also, he is having more than 30 years of 3 decades of experience in the power sector, and the last 10 years he is in Delhi. So you know that he is with the power corridors, and he knows what is happening in the industry. He is also the secretary to the Power Sector Skill Council. So, and he is also a person. He's very he's championing in India, where he is very clear that he wants to promote renewable source of energy, because earlier also coal shortage is coming, but otherwise also there is an initiative in India where we are trying to convert lot of 70% of currently is the power generated through coal and thermal plant, which we need to convert to renewable energy. So he's a person who is championing that. So Pathak sir, what is all this coal shortage and power crisis we are hearing right now?
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to your this program. I'm really very happy to join you, and the subject which you have chosen is near to my heart. The mainly, as you said in an introduction, that I am associated with this sector and all these happenings since last 30 years, and out of that last 10 years, I have a privilege to be associated in the top corridors or top Delhi, or you can say national level happenings, and whatever the information I have gathered, or whatever the things I have seen in last 10 years or 20 years, I'm definitely going to share on that basis. As you rightly said, the power shortage or whatever the things that are discussed last couple of weeks. Let me give you a brief about all these things in some 3 to 4 minutes. The background is we are a country which is in a that stage where we are growing, and when we are growing, the basic need in today's world is energy or power. And to tell you about power, see, we have almost 110, they were referring that 130 units have the shortage of stock. They have a less stock, critical stock they define, that is 3 days or less than that. And to make aware all those who are participating in this session, that the situation is we have the coal mines from where we are extracting coal, then taking it on, means it's a mine, so it is underground mostly, or at the below the normal level. So from there you have to take it on a level where you can dispatch it. The dispatch is mainly through railways, because at one go they are carrying almost 3,500 tons of coal. And I think, if I'm not wrong, there are at least 125 to 150 such rakes, or more than that, must be going from the 150, 160 locations spread around the country. So the The thing is, there are 150, 160 locations from where you are getting a coal, and there are 120, 130 locations where you have to take that coal for a power station or for a power unit. And the distance between these two must be averaging 500 kilometers. So you have to move that coal from one place to another, and average distance is 500, 600 kilometer, you can say. Yeah, normally it is presumed that there are some power stations which are pithead, means they are based next to the mine. But there are many locations which are far away from, and as you were referring about the northern states and all that, see, mainly coal mines are in your eastern or a bit eastern part. Hari, you are from that area, so you are aware that Jharkhand and Bihar or the Chhattisgarh areas. So from taking the coal, extracting that coal, taking it on the ground, then taking putting it into the railways, and then moving with the railways to the these locations. Such a huge network is working. Many times people are not aware what huge network this is. And to give you an idea, whatever the network we have, electricity network, that is the third biggest network and one of the biggest in Asia. So to maintain this network, it's a huge process. And means to give you a in a common man's or in a layman's language, you are running a restaurant, a big restaurant which is very much popular in your city, and there is a turnout of 1,000 plus every day. So now the restaurant owner has to keep watch on everything. He has to get his inputs, raw material from different parts, then he has to process it, and then he has to serve it to the his customers. The main why I took this example, the restaurant timings may be between 8 to 11 are a peak, and if it is 4 to 8, it's not a means it's a totally non-peak hours. Similar case is it electricity. In the morning there are peaks, means people normally switches on the electricity needs in the morning 8, industry starts in the morning. So in the morning and evening there are two peaks that also has to be catered by the electricity utility. And to cater all these things, as I said, you have to take a raw material from 160 locations, you have to take it to the, and see, when I'm saying average 500 kilometer you have to take that coal, means the time required to a rake is almost you can say 10 to 12 hours minimum. And the most important thing is, as I referred in another case, restaurant, see, whatever the stock of coal or you are taking it to the power station, it should not go high or it should not go low. Now the situation we are talking, if it goes high, then there is a storage problem, then there is a possibility of that coal getting exposed to sun heat, and then it may burn. So that is again a loss to the all the happenings. So you have to maintain all these things in a that way, so that it should not come go to a lower level and it should not go to the higher level. And another thing is, the requirements are changing, and the most important thing is, you have to handle the natural calamities, or you have means, why I'm saying natural calamities, see, if it is raining in a eastern part of the country, then the mines have a water, and that water logging may affect that. So in that situation, the power stations which are there, they must have a good stock already with them to cater these. And if it is some other way, if it is a summer, then you have to means power station will try to keep lower stock, because higher stock may get lost because of the evaporation, because of the burning of coal and all that. So this is a huge system, and one has to cater. So building a stock or stock getting down, both are the things which needs some time. Means if you take some corrective actions and all that, there is a time required, because the surplus movement or shortage it occurs in a slow or sluggish manner. It is not like that I thought this and I push a button of electricity connection and that starts my means whatever instrument or whatever thing which I am using in my home. So when I put button on, I get electricity. But it is not case on the background. You have to work, and it's a huge manpower, a huge control system, huge regulations are going on. So that is one thing one should understand. Now
Sir,
coming to, yeah.
sorry to just cut in between. So you are telling that there is actually no coal shortage. It is the logistics problem what we are facing.
Yes, rather, I
So
will say last 10 years, we have seen such type of situations every alternate year. Because, see, what I'm trying to convey you is it is a time of a year wherein such type of low positions sometimes occurs. And see, basically, there is a huge machinery which is regulating it 24 hours every minute. But what happens is, there are some situations which are beyond our control. Means when it will rain in particular area, nobody knows. When you need more power, means, see, I'll share another simple example. Suppose there is a match between India and Pakistan which is coming up. So that time the electricity requirement in whole country goes high. So you have
true,
to take
true.
that also into consideration. And why I gave that restaurant example, because if I'm prepared, but sometimes there is a holiday which I am not knowing or I'm not prepared, and if huge crowd comes in, what I have to do is I have to regulate that crowd. So or I have to think, how can I cater these requirements, whether my stock will be sufficient or it will go down or up to what level and all that. So that is the situation that is there. And as I mentioned, it's a time of a year wherein the lows and highs comes in. All precautions are taken by all these means coal producers, then railway logistics, then power station monitors, or whosoever are this power sector. These three has to work in a synchronized manner, and they
India
are.
is Yeah, India is also one of the largest, second largest coal
Yes,
exporter in the world. So that also brings a lot of foreign exchange to us, right? And now coal price is also going high. Now, as per your what you shared, I am understanding this is a regular process. This is happening for years. There is a well-oiled mechanism which is running all these things.
and
Now,
yeah,
my
and
question.
one more important before that your attention. See, basically, the sector or government machinery is used to all these things, and they are taking all precautions. But sometimes the situation is beyond control because of the natural happenings. Means in this case, they say that there were situations which were found that we are in a okay situation, but suddenly because of the weather conditions and all that, the consumption in 1 month, which normally was low, is went high. And if consumption goes higher, naturally your stock goes down. So it's a that type of thing, and this is not under our control. Means it is all
And
happening at that time.
yeah, and you know the one of the biggest coal exporter in the world is China. Now China is coming out with such kind of news that there is a shortage of power in China, so they are shutting down. So their export is going to come down. And other hand, the second exporter also talks about kind of a power crisis. So how you see this as a this news right now blowing global or in India? If this is something which was happening regularly, this much uh, hike is not required. So, what is your view on that?
In a lighter note, now I feel that we are a global people because if something happening in US or China, then we compare ourselves with that, and immediately we jumps in. If they have a problem, definitely we will have. But that is not the situation. We are totally different people, and we have a good machinery. Rather, whatever machinery or whatever the system which is in process, which we see since last 10 years, or whatever we were 10 years before, we are well ahead of the situations, and we have all type of machineries, things, the system regulation system is available, which is online, or which you can say state of art system is available with us. Every minute thing is monitored and seen or sensed in our central locations, and accordingly the decisions are taken. The only thing is, after taking decision, because the system is huge, the correction time is a bit more, and we should give that correction time to the system. That is yes, because we are spread inside. And about China and all that, see, whatever I heard is, and in some cases even it is talked about India, because of the pandemic situation and all that, there are some restrictions by on import of coal. Means whether China is importing from some other country or we are importing from that. So we it is presumed that because of the situation we may not need that import coal, or there are some problems wherein you cannot import the coal. So that shortage a bit, that is also a small a little role in all these happenings, because
Sir,
when you get an import coal, it has a high quality, so you can blend that high quality coal with a bit little lower quality of Indian coal, and then you can achieve the things. So that is also a little reason which has added. But mainly the thing is, as I said, in my view, we are becoming global. So when we heard about China and China is facing, so immediately the as the news comes, we jumped in. But whatever the knowledge we have, whatever the things we have seen in past, I'm sure that these things are very well taken care and have already been taken care. There is one small thing which I want to add here, that like during the COVID days, we have come with that 20 minutes shutdown, power off. So many people were saying what we are doing and all that. But people like us who are part of the system, we were sure that we are in a position to handle this. And we have handled that very nicely. Otherwise, there were many people who were claiming or blaming that what is we are happening if we downsize the electricity requirement to such a huge extent. How can we cater? And there is a problem. There may be this problem or that problem or that problem. But that is another example that how strong our system is. And the another point which I am mentioning again and again, we have a state of art system that is regulating, monitoring the things, that is taking corrective actions. But yes, as the things were went to a level, that's why it got discussed, and that is also a good thing that people are aware that such a huge means what I want to share is such a huge system. People are taking means there are a huge number of manpower involved at different levels, and they are trying to keep your life steady, or whatever your requirements, they are trying to fulfill your requirements.
this is very interesting. So
Yeah,
actually, viewers, there is nothing to worry about. Then there are also a couple of questions which we
yeah,
have got.
yeah,
So I would like to just put that into
yeah,
your view.
yes,
The government of India, in much earlier time itself, decided to bring down the dependency of coal, the power generated through coal, because of the climate concerns, whatever we are having. So we have
yes,
nuclear power, we have hydropower, and
yes,
now you,
yeah,
as a person who is also leading this solar revolution in the country,
yeah,
renewable sector is also, we have high targets. Prime Minister Narendra Modi kept. So,
yeah.
what are the other alternative sources taking shape, and how we will be able to reduce the dependency as the power usage is increasing in the country?
Wonderful, wonderful. This is a wonderful question, Hari. Basically, when I started my functioning in Delhi in 2010-11, the situation of our country of power sector is the installed capacity in our power sector at that time was somewhere 120 gigawatt, and we were worried how can we raise it to 150 in the next 2 years, and those were the days of load shedding, power shortage and all that. But today our installed capacity is 387 gigawatt. Means whatever installed capacity we have from our independence to 2011-12, we have almost doubled our installed capacity. So that much things have been changed. And more interestingly is up to 2011-12, the coal part was 75% or plus. Now it is near to 65 or something like. So why it happened? Because we have added renewable energy, that is an alternate source, and that we sense that yes, our dependency on coal because of the these are there are reasons, and even internationally we are trying to reduce the use of fossil fuels. So we have taken these steps, and now we are a country wherein the coal based power generation is 65% or maybe less than that, and renewables have taken the major role, and they are going to take it in a major sense in coming decades or years. You might have heard that about 1 lakh megawatt. That is what the capacity we have achieved recently. See, in 2011-12, having a 1 lakh megawatt capacity of renewable was a next means it never nobody dreams of we will achieve this, but that is what we have achieved. Whatever the steps that has taken, and particularly since 2014, after 2014-15, particularly that Paris Convention, wherein we committed that we will achieve the target of 175 gigawatt through renewables in 2022. Since then, whatever the efforts that has taken, and whatever the things taken at the government end, then that was supported by the corporates, that was supported by the industry, and we have reached to a 150 around gigawatt position today. And only yesterday we were listening to the MNRE minister, and he was saying the rest 25 gigawatt procedures have already been completed, and we have almost some 16 months time to achieve that target in 2022. So we are moving in that direction. Initially that speed was low, but now that momentum has been, we have gained that momentum, and because of that momentum we are sure that the targets of ours is 175 gigawatt 2022, and later on our targets on 2030 are 450 gigawatt. So that much change is going to occur in Indian scenario. Means our dependency on coal is, we are gradually reducing that. We are in that process. You will not find a new power plant which is coal based coming up, which was the case in 2011-12. So my point is, we have moved a lot. In 2011, we have a shortage of 8 to 9% of power, and because of that, the steps were started, and now we have a 375 or 375 gigawatt installed capacity, and renewable is adding. So our switch towards the renewable is continuous, and in renewable, solar is another sector wherein we are relying on. Major means in 2011, 1 megawatt power solar power plant was something one should be aware or was doing. Then later on, one power plant comes in Sakri in Maharashtra, wherein 150 megawatt first installation of solar plant was planned and executed, and that was recognized as a Asia's biggest solar plant. And now today we have 750 megawatt and 1500 megawatt, 2000 megawatt plants, solar plants, which are in execution or have been executed. And more than that, recently in Gujarat, they have inaugurated the 30 gigawatt capacity solar and wind uh, plant together. So now that has been planned, means that will be executed in next 2 3 years, whatever the plans they have. So that switch has happened, where 1 megawatt to 30 gigawatt means planning a 1 megawatt solar plant was in 2011 was something dream that, oh, we are doing something great, but today we are doing it same thing for 30 gigawatt. So that scaling has happened, and as I am saying again and again, that momentum has been, is there now. Earlier we were doing it, but at a very small level, but now, and even the industry is aware. If you are going in the news, all the big players in India, they are acquiring some of the other renewable companies in the world which is already there. So that is the indication that we are moving to that renewable sector, and the process is on. We have not reached, the journey is along, but yes, we are taking steps, we are going ahead, and whatever we have achieved is something we never dreamed of. So for whatever the data which is an authentic data I have, I can be very comfortable or confident that yes, we have moved and we are in the process of moving ahead. Means, see, I referred 125 gigawatt of installed capacity in 2011, and now in 2030, 2030, we are planning a 450 gigawatt of renewable. And in 2022 we are saying ki we will achieve 175 gigawatt. So that much change has happened in last 5 years, 6 years. And that is what is next in 8 10 years we are expecting that to happen. So if we do or achieve all these things, definitely the coal part or the fossil fuel part is in that kitty is going to reduce. Means, as I said, it was 75 plus in somewhere earlier days. Now it has been 65 or less than that, and it will go down and down and down. But I have one more thing. Another one more thing which I want to add is having a solar energy, then the development on the energy storage, the use of the electric vehicles and LED. These are all the things which we are doing is something in a direction to achieve something. The consumption, energy consumption at a lower capacity. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we are trying to achieve all those achievements or things which already have. See, changing to this means solar energy charging, then energy storage, and electric vehicles and LED based systems or low voltage based systems. We are not going to lose. Rather, we are getting better solutions, and at a see the ultimate aim is to make energy affordable.
And
Whosoever,
efficient,
yes,
affordable and efficient.
yeah, and solar is a source which is clean source, which is abundant, which is otherwise going waste. If you are not using solar energy, then it is going waste. So earlier we had a technology problem, then we also had a finance problems, but we are overcoming all these things. And all those who are aware of International Solar Alliance, which we formed in 2015 along with France, our honorable prime minister has taken a lead in that. The concept is to have a solar grid, or to have those countries together which are solar rich, which are tropical countries, which are having a good amount of solar availability. And we all are aware that solar means sun is available 24 hours a day at a different locations. Earlier we had a problem that if sun sets in India, then we cannot generate solar, but that is not the case now. People, now that thoughts has come ahead, that if we are not in a position to generate in India, why not to generate in UAE or some other part, or the eastern part? And whenever you don't have sun, can we transfer that energy or electricity from that country to this country, and we can make an exchange of all that? So these things are happening, and I'm very much optimistic and very much happy for the next decade to our country, because we are now leading in this sector, in solar, in renewable. And earlier we used to uh, have a follow the other peoples, or we were expecting the other countries to give us. Now we are giving to the countries which are lesser to us. So these are
This
the
is
things. So
hmm.
all these things are happening. So coming again, means solar is an option, and lot of things are happening on solar, which is supported by the energy storage and other things which are available to us. So all this, taking all this into consideration, I'm very much confident that such type of situations will not be there. And again, coming to the first point, the coal shortage. Yes, coal shortage means it is because of the natural conditions, calamities, and the demand supply
And
thing.
which is happening over years. It is not something which is happening this time.
Right, right. And we have catered every time. We have taken the steps when we don't have that much of system available. Now we have good systems which are already available with us, and we are taking care of. But yes, sometimes some panic button, someone pushes panic button, and then to some extent taking a stress is good. But if we take it to the higher extent, then it may develop a panic and all that. And on
It is
this,
like it is like using our energy, wasting our energy, like how we are not able to take the solar energy properly, sun
yes,
energy.
rather, this is a good point that we should make aware to the general public that solar energy has given you an option, and you can definitely contribute to the nation by starting thinking about using solar, or by implementing your own small systems which can cater to your needs. For small example, we charge mobiles with the normal electricity by converting it to the with the help of the battery charger. See, we are using hardly 4 to 10 volt in our mobile charging, and we are step downing 230 volt in my house to this much level, and more than that, the higher capacity transformers are downloading that energy to your houses up to 230. So if you need 5 volt or 10 volt charging, then why not to move to solar? If you have a system at your house wherein you have a small solar plate and a battery storage or something like that, if you keep it in your house, and if that gets charged in a daytime, you can use your mobiles. See, crores of people are using mobiles, so that much energy we are using, so that can be switched to solar. So these type of things we can do as a citizen. Secondly, when you hear about solar coal shortage and all that, in personal, I feel that citizens should come forward and say, okay, let me reduce my consumption for that time. For that time, how
Excellent.
how you have to think these are the things which I don't need. If I am a factory owner or manufacturing unit, and if I think and thinking, okay, this is not the time, this country needs my support, I can contribute to the country in this way, that I will reduce my consumption uh, during that period. And if whole of country thinks of a little bit that, okay, let me reduce my consumption by 20%, so the load on the system goes down. System doesn't need to produce that much.
This is how you can add value to the country, the
Yes,
troubles, and
yes.
how we can bring out a solution.
Uh,
This is how you can bring out a
yeah,
solution.
yeah. You reduce your usage, or you think means if you are see, home is not a means home supply is not a big contributor, but whatever you can do, you have to think of that. How can I reduce my consumption for this period? If country has a problem, I'll come up with either if I am owning a factory or manufacturing unit, and if I can plan my production in a particular time wherein there is a less demand, so that is also possible. Or I have some, suppose 400 watt or something like high capacity lamps and all that, so I can reduce them to half, because I may not need a full. So that type of citizens should also come forward and say, "Ki, okay, if you have problem, we will contribute to my extent." That is also my personal feeling that people should do in this time. Yes,
A
and moving
great
to
message,
solar. Yeah,
a great message you given,
yeah. And that is
Patak
a
Saab.
history. That is history of my country. Whenever this thing, see, if you go to the history, people will say, "Ki, yes, people have come forward and they have offered something unimaginable, amazing." And this is a simple thing that you have to reduce your consumption, whether it is in home, it is in office, in factories, wherever. You just say, "Ki, okay, I will reduce my consumption for the
Thank you,
time
sir. Yeah,
being."
this is a very interesting subject, and I think we can take a lot of time discussing one point. We just started actually.
Yeah.
So just to conclude today, friends, as we discussed with Shri Prafulla Pathak, uh, who is within this power industry, he knows in and out, and there is nothing to worry. Coal shortage, it was there yesterday, it is today, it can be tomorrow. But over the years, our country is bringing down the dependency of coal shortage. There are different alternative sources we already have. We have hydropower much before from the coal, or and then we have nuclear, which is also working. But yes, we have high dependency on coal shortage. But if you want to help the country at the time of these shortages, these crises, if you feel that you are a responsible citizen, as Patak Sab told, you can save energy, 20% of your factory, your home, anything, and you can add value to your country. That is how you can help us. Second thing, what he told is solar. Before 10 years, we were talking about 1 megawatt. We are now talking about 30 gigawatt. Maybe, these words we will not be able to understand in that way, but it is very huge, the way of work India is doing. Many people will not be knowing International Solar Alliance what they are doing, but very simply, Patak sir was able to make us understand UAE is having huge sun and they are 3 to 2.5 hours away. So when our sun sets or before sunrise, they have 2.5 hours of solar energy, abundant solar energy, which we can also use, or our solar can be used by UAE when there is dark. So there are a lot of advancements happening in the industry where now we must be proud that India is leading. So there is nothing to worry, and we are going to grow together. And thank you, Pataksa, for coming and making this wonderful, sharing your knowledge on this subject, which is very trending. And thanks for that. And yeah, friends, with another guest and with another subject, we will meet again in the point noted by Machine Makers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.